the All right, welcome to tonight's show. Let's give a big applause of Angela Elmer, the habit coach and also a nutrition integration health coach for people out there. So now may I pass the floor to you, Angela?
Thank you very much, Adeline. Firstly, thank you for having me, and thanks for the wonderful Inspire team behind you, preparing the posters and videos, etc., and putting me in such a beautiful limelight, and all the effort to put the speakers into the limelight. I have followed the last 3 sessions, and it is a great pleasure to be part of this esteemed group of speakers. Jasmine, who introduced the law of attraction, Summer, who related the implementation of the law of perpetual transmutation of energy to her work as a lawyer, and recently Vincent with this amazingly detailed explanation on the law of vibration. I learned so much from him even still. The 3 of them really wowed me. So it is a great honor to be in the same pot. And as many of you know, I assume, there are 12 laws of the universe, also referred to of the 12 as 12 universal laws. So apart from the law of action, there are 11 more laws that influence your life, of which 3 have already been introduced, as I just mentioned. And Adeline did an amazing job by putting a summary together for the Inspire team. But as we apparently also have guests from outside of Inspire, and to put everybody on the same level before we start, I thought maybe I'll just quickly read out what you have shared, Adeline, because that will help people who come here by curiosity and didn't have any background to better follow us, right? So, Adeline, my lovely... Sorry? Okay. The law of action...
that you're connecting the audience together, and by joining it.
Yeah. The law of action must be employed in order for us to manifest things on earth. We must engage in actions that support our thoughts, dreams, emotions, and words. The law of action states that you must do the things and perform the actions necessary to achieve what you are setting out to do. Unless you take action that are in harmony with your thoughts and dreams and proceed in an orderly fashion towards what you want to accomplish, there will be absolutely no foreseeable result. It is there with the law of action that most people falter when pursuing success. It could be their fears or laziness that get in the way. And I think that's a very great summary. Thank you so much, Adeline, for putting that together. This very well resumes the law of action. As any of the 12 laws, the law of action is energy. It is all energy. And in this context, I believe it is one of the easiest laws to understand the connection between the law and its relationship to energy. For example, when you take action, you invest energy to do it. Thinking about what you're going to do is already making your brain cells are working, buzzing around. It already is giving action, already energy is vibrating. And you are then also thinking of what you're going to say, what you're going to discuss, loads of energy coming up. Then you pick up the phone, the physical energy comes into place. First is the mental energy, now comes the physical energy as I separated, right? It comes into place, and then you dial the number, you pick up the phone, you dial the number, and you talk. So that is physical energy. So energy from beginning to the end, physical and mental energy combined coming together. But unfortunately, often people only invest the mental energy, the thinking of it in action. But they never step forward to do the actual action. For example, they might be thinking about moving houses, but then they're not going to look about where do I want to live, how much is the price, how can I find the right place, etc., etc. And then one day they say, if I only had done this and this and this, then I would have this and this and this and this. And 20 years later, they're still in the same job they never liked, and still complain and regret that they have never taken action, right? So the question is it fear or is it laziness? Or is it not wanting to step out of the comfort zone? Because at least when you're in your comfort zone, and even if it's not great, at least you know what to deal with, right? Often, even though it may be really unsatisfying, but the unknown is so much more scary. I better stay where I am, safer, even if not happy, right? And I'm like, better? How can that be better? Imagine you were a fresh driving license graduate, okay? Of course, you're really scared of driving, right? So how was it with you when you had your driving license? Were you like, yeah, I drive and yay, I drive around the city and I pick up my mother from there and I drive 50 kilometers to there and everything? Was it like you, or were you more on the safe side, like, okay, I have to get into that car, I have to do it? Which one was your experience back then?
My experience would be very cautious, will be very careful, like putting in the right gear, hold my hand so strict on the steering.
Exactly. And exactly that's how you should do it. The thing is, people, when they have a driving license, I think it's an easy example because most people go through that experience. You have a driving license and you need to drive, but of course you're not comfortable and you don't feel safe and you're like, I want to drive, but I'm scared. I scratched daddy's car or mommy's car and I'm scared of having an accident, etc., etc. So you kind of have this fear of driving, but how can you become a confident driver if you don't practice, right? So this resonates with anything you're hesitant about, or you're hesitant about, or maybe even have a fear about. So let's do this now. Each one of you listeners, you lovely guests tonight, I would like you to think of something that you are hesitant of doing, either because you find it annoying, because it's like, I don't feel like doing it. I'm not talking about washing dishes. I'm talking about things you want to do in your life, things you want to accomplish or change or whatever, okay? So you find it annoying, but it's necessary. Or you are kind of scared of doing something like the driving license, for example, right? I will not ask anyone to share here because this is not a closed group, it's an open group, so it's not a safe environment. But I would like you to think about something that you would like to accomplish, okay? So anything. This anything can be learning how to swim, losing weight, wanting to change a job, moving houses, as I just said, or get closer to financial freedom. So what holds you back?
Right.
Okay? What holds you back? Let's go back to the fresh driving school graduate. Now, I want you to imagine what you were going to do, what your accomplishment is, or this task that you are scared of, or you're uncomfortable, or you're annoyed of doing. Now, I want you to imagine to take the car keys, get into that car,
Yep.
set the mirrors right, left, center, car seat according to the length of your legs and how you feel comfortable holding the steering wheel to your height. Push that key in and start the car.
Right.
Then check which gear do you have to put, because if you're facing a wall, it has to be the reverse gear. If the back is to the wall, it has to be the first gear, right? So that you don't bang into anything. And then get into the movement. And once you get into the movement, then change to the next gear. For example, if you're in the first gear, no car goes from the first gear into the fifth gear. It will destroy the engine. Every car goes from the first gear to the second gear, to the third gear, to the fourth gear, and so on. You need to find your own pace in what you're doing. No rush. Just like any car, slowly accelerate, next gear. Slowly accelerate, next gear, and so on. Now apply this to your scenario.
Okay.
Later tonight, think, what are the things you need to prepare? That is the driving seat, putting the mirrors, etc. together, okay? On your project, I want you to think tonight, what are the things you have to prepare in order to take the action?
Okay.
What is, for example, let's say if you want to learn how to swim, okay? So the preparation is what? You don't pick up the call. Who are you going to call, right? So the first thing is you go on Google, look for swimming instructors, find out that contact number, where do they train, etc., before you put in the engine, the key into the engine and start the car by jumping into the water, right? By going for the classes.
Yes,
so there are certain stages, right? So the preparation of sitting in the car is preparing your call, for example, or let's say you want to lose weight. The preparation is, you don't go on a diet tomorrow. The preparation is you call a specialist or you do a research on diets, how to change your food, etc. You start walking 3 times a week for about 30 minutes. This is all the preparation before you go into the big food change or into your big diet. You want to change a job? Well, the preparation is you search for headhunters, find out what you need, whether to present to them, rewrite your resume, check out LinkedIn and start seriously looking for jobs before you call the headhunter, before you take the action. So everything has to be prepared, right? This is calling the headhunter is the machine, the engine. He will then tell you what you have to do next, and then everything follows, right? Move houses, check out various areas where you would like to move, check out whether how long the kids will have to drive to that place, check out how long it takes you to get to work. Is it really convenient? Who are the agents who work in that area? You do research before you start the engine and start off, okay? So there's preparation, appropriate preparation before you take action. You don't just jump into the water if you don't know how to swim. You start by having swimming lessons, okay? So each action has to be kind of prepared and thought through to be successful.
Okay.
If you want
a question, Angela.
Yes.
So what is the difference between without preparation and with preparation for taking the action?
Well, every action has to be thought through. You know, I mean, every action that you want to accomplish something, you want to do something, it should be thought through. You should not, nobody jumps into the swimming pool without having a life vest or know how deep it is, or it is risky. It goes into an empty space. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
If you move houses and just say, oh, you go on the internet and you see a nice house and you say yes, and you what do I know what you want to, or you say yes to a job, you want to take that job, and afterwards you find out it takes you 3 hours to drive there. Who is going to do that, right? That is wasted. That is wasted energy on action that doesn't accomplish anything, and you get frustrated and you stop and you fail, so-called. Okay, so in order to sorry.
Yeah, you hit the point. You answered my question.
Yeah, so in order to get somewhere, to do something, to change something, to accomplish something, to make a bigger change, the action has to be, there's a pre-action to the big action. Action comes in different layers, okay? So you have to set goals, and you have to do things that are in relation to what you want to have. For example, also, you want to have financial freedom. Well, to start with financial freedom, you have to go to your bank. And you have to check what do you spend every week, and what do you need by the end of the month? How much do you have left over? So that that banker can actually do something according to your custom made. Otherwise, you will be frustrated. If you get just then solution B, it might not appropriate to you. Or if then he asks you do this and this and this and this, all the preparation, you're like, alamak, I have so much time. You know, so that's why I'm saying, in my opinion, the law of action is action, preparation, and the actual thing of just do it, right? And this is also where the law of attraction comes into place. The law of attraction, as confirmed by Jasmine in her talk, and I thank you, Jasmine, if you're hearing me now. Thank you for putting this bridge up. The law of attraction does not work without the law of action. It is impossible. You cannot simply sit on your sofa, visualize. Oh, I'm going to be a millionaire in 2 weeks. I don't know how to, I have 10 ringgit left on my bank account, but in 2 months I'm going to be a millionaire. Visualize. Yeah, I see myself on stage. No. It doesn't work. The law of attraction works together with the law of action. So you will not lose weight by standing in front of a mirror and say, twist your eyes and say, I see myself really slim, and ta-da, it's going to happen in 3 weeks. No, you still have to take action and start doing activities, start looking at your food. It doesn't fall from heaven. It just doesn't work. So the law of attraction needs to work with the law of action. And very importantly, the steps you take have to be reasonable. Like I just said, you can't, for example, first of all, you can't just imagine. And secondly, don't come with great ideas and say, I'm going to lose 20 kilos in 4 weeks. You will die of malnutrition. So there is no success story. What you can do is you can say, okay, I'll start with month one, I set 3 kilos because the beginning is the most difficult, right? And then you set new goals. So it goes in small steps. And then the law of attraction may be coming in, and most probably will be coming in by helping you losing your weight faster as a compensation to your action. Okay? So the law of attraction is the icing and the cherry on top of the cake. It can enhance and it will accelerate and it will make your dream become maybe bigger, or the reality of your dream become even bigger. All this is possible. If you do nothing, it doesn't work. You may ask.
So the key thing is goal settings, right?
The key thing is, sorry?
Goal settings?
Yes, goal settings. Everything in small steps. You should have realistic targets, not unrealistic targets. Do you hear me? Sometimes I have difficulty hearing you. Do you hear me clearly?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. So yes, it has to be small targets. It has to be thought through, it has to be prepared, and to a certain point. Because otherwise the action goes just haywire. What a waste of energy, right? It's all energy. That energy we lose here, we have to build up again for the next one, for whatever we want to do then. So if we think things through and plan them and take small steps, our action, the power will build up and we'll be able to get better and better and stronger and achieve more and more and more and more. It's ongoing. I have an exercise to that at the end of the talk. So many people, of course, will wonder, okay, she's talking all about this law of action. Well, how did this law of action theme today is also how has the law of action influenced my life? And very simple answer, why am I here in Malaysia? It started with me fulfilling my dream, regardless of the obstacles that were apparent. When I graduated from high school, my dream was to move to France, precisely Paris, la ville de l'amour. My French teacher back then, told me that in his opinion, my French level was way below what I needed to live in France, and that I would most probably fail. I was very upset. I was devastated. But today I thank this gentleman, and I'm grateful because unconsciously he encouraged me to realize my dream. He really pushed me even further. So I started my studies in Germany right after high school. I completed my studies, and then I sat down and I planned at least a little bit. I looked for a place in France where I can improve my French. I didn't want to do it back in Germany because I know if you don't practice is action, right? If you don't practice, you won't be fluent in the language. So how can you practice being fluent in Germany with not having French friends around you at all? So it's kind of mission impossible, right? So I said to myself, I'm going to take an intensive course in France, not in Paris. It was outside of Paris because Paris was unaffordable. You couldn't pay for those courses in Paris. It was so expensive. So I went to Besançon, which is a small little city, and I did a 6 weeks intensive course. And all that was fine because I went to a family. I stayed with a family who I didn't know, but they were very friendly. I was really blessed. But then after 6 weeks, I had to jump to big Paris. And I can tell you, I was scared. I was really scared because Besançon was like a little village. Everybody greeting each other, everybody buying the bread at the same bakery. Everything was so friendly. And here I go to the big Paris. But I did it. And it was not easy in the beginning, I admit. But I spent 10 lovely years in Paris.
10 years?
Yes, 10 years. Let's see how it goes. And my French teacher telling me you're going to fail. I went into the film industry. I was a director's assistant. I did amazing things. I was blessed. I met the right people at the right place. Everything happened at the right time. But I seriously believe, because I also thought it through, not over planned, because there is some point where you have to jump. But, I took a little bit of, okay, let's think this a little bit better through. But if I had done a pro and con list, the con list was much bigger than the pro, because I was still going for a lot of uncertain things. But that is where I say, this is the way you take the law of action and you say, okay, there is uncertainty. I'm getting out of my comfort zone, and I will make an effort to achieve it. I did a little bit of preparation. The step was huge. And this is, again, the law of action is like, okay, start that car, even if you don't know what's going to happen next, really, and you're scared. Do it. Try it. If it doesn't work, you can go back. You can go back and you can say, at least, I gave it a try. It didn't work this time. Maybe it was too early. Maybe it was not well prepared enough. But at least you did it. If you sit back and say, oh, if I could, I should, maybe. And you never do it. 20 years later, you sit there and say, why didn't I ever try to go to Paris, right? And Paris, in my 10th year of Paris, I got a job offer to work for the prestigious 17th Commonwealth Games in Kuala Lumpur. Yes, I'm very proud. I was part of that team. I was part of the team in the backstage who made this event happen. Yes, I was part of the scoring, timing, results, project management team. So all the results, internationally, etc., all had to go through us. So it was an amazing job. It was an amazing experience. It was a 3-month assignment, and here I am, 22 years old.
3 months and end up with 22 years.
Yes.
We glad to have you here in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur.
Thank you. I eat chili padi, I eat durian, but I still don't speak Bahasa. So I'm a little bit in, but I'm still not properly in. Very bad. I learned French within 3 months. I've been 22 years here in Malaysia. I still speak the really crappy, broken Bahasa. Excuse me. Really bad. But that's it. That's how it is. So, but same thing here. To come to Malaysia was a huge step. Come on, you go from Europe, you go to Asia. It's a completely different culture. The food is different, etc. Again, I planned it a little bit. I had a job. Okay, good. I had a job for 3 months. Okay, fine. Okay, for 3 months. And I only planned to come for 3 months, right? So I had 3 months job. I had found accommodation. I went on the business directory to see how big the German community is over there. I got the contact of the German embassy just in case. I registered at the German embassy back then from Germany already, just to make sure that when I come and I have emergency case that I have an address, I know where to go to. But then by the end of the day, I took that flight and I flew to Malaysia and I landed here in wearing boots, and I couldn't get out of my boots because my feet were so small. Yeah, boots to Malaysia. Now I wear boots because I've been here 22 years. But when you come here, you shouldn't wear boots. So that was how that is how I landed here in Malaysia. It is a lot of laws of action, mini action in preparation, big action in starting the engine and going down and getting into that plane in both cases and just arriving and say, and now I take it from here. Now I take it to the next step.
Okay, I have another question in my mind right now.
Yeah.
When you are doing the planning, does the intuition take place or the courages take place? Which one is more?
I think that depends on people, I must say. I work a lot with intuition. Other people are not so comfortable with intuition, but by the end of the day, whether I think still, intuition or not, by the end of the day, you just have to take that big step. Even sometimes the intuition says, it would be so much easier not to do it. You should do it. If you can calculate your risk to a certain point, there will always be a risk. You never know where you step because you're stepping out of your comfort zone. In anything you do, in saving, you're stepping out of your comfort zone because you restrict yourself from spending on things that you usually used to spend on, right? Like, what do I know what? You go for dinner 3 times a week. You step out of the comfort zone because you're not going to allow yourself to have dinner 3 times a week, but only once a week. So, your comfort zone is kind of like restricted. So everything you do is sort of changes something. And whether it's intuition, your planning, or whether it's really going to details and studied, I think by the end of the day, the jump is still into the darkness somehow. It's still into the unknown. You can never plan 100%. I'm an event manager. I plan events from A to Z. Okay, I used to do. I was an event manager for over 20 years. I plan everything from A to Z. And I still know when I finished my planning that by the end of the day, 60% may be working, 40% will be surprised will not work. It's just like that. And that's the same thing when you take something. You can plan it 100%, you can be super prepared. There are things that are just not under your control. You can't control everything. And sometimes those things happen because you're supposed to slow down. Yeah. Allow me to share with you what. Yeah, exactly. And I would also like to share something with you, which is about the law of action that has a wider meaning to me. But that is a very personal injection now. Okay, so you can take it on or you can not take it on. This is to everybody their own interpretation, right? I personally believe that the law of action should be implemented to a certain degree unconditionally. Let me specify to you. I think that sometimes you should take action, provide services, help, without calculating what the outcome will be precisely. What do I get out of it? Okay? I've seen this recently with a very dear friend of mine. Over a long time, she provided free service, undercharged her clients, in my opinion. My friend and me were both friends with her. We banged on her head because we said, oh, come on, you can charge more. You should charge more, blah, blah, blah. Because we were always worried that she gets, ripped off, right? So we were always like, oh, you're doing too much for free. You should charge a minimum, blah, blah, blah. But she continued her way, stubborn, as usual. And now she's going to run her own business. Her clients actually put it together for her. The fundamental base. And here is the compensation, way beyond what she had thought of, way beyond what she had visualized. I asked her recently, is it like you had visualized for it to be one day? And she said, it's even better. Plus the one day happened much faster than anybody had expected. So she gave her knowledge, shared her skills to a certain point unconditionally, or at least very minor conditions, right? And look at the compensation. The compensation was her clients actually put together, prepared her office, showed her office, kind of presented to her on a golden plate all ready to be done, available and everything. I mean, there were still renovations to be done, but everything was ready. Everything was in place. It was exactly, the environment was what she had dreamt of, the place, the size, everything was exactly what she needed. And it was for her clients. They took her there and said, hey, come, let me show you something. And look at that compensation. And my opinion is because she did it unconditionally to a certain point. You see what I mean? She gave, and she did actions, and the return was immense. And for me, it is something similar is happening at the moment. My scenario, my approach, I am personally right now trying is a bad word. Try to lift your arm. You either lift your arm or you don't like to lift your arm. You can't try to lift your arm. So I rephrase.
Sure.
I re-say. I am personally making an effort to establish myself in a very new environment called food education. It's very unheard of here in Malaysia and worldwide. It's relatively new, right?
Yeah.
Now, how do I get known for something people barely know about? And you have, therefore, no references, right?
Yeah.
Well, what I do currently is I do it for free. That is not easy. Absolutely. It's not easy. Not at all. Neither time-wise nor financially. But, but how will people find out about my competencies and achievements and capabilities if I had no project to show, if I had no showcase?
Yes.
And as you, how would people give me a project if they don't understand what I'm doing and and I have no case study or no project I can refer to? How do you want to get exposure if you do nothing? So I decided to do it FOC. Of course, not full time. It's impossible. But I have allocated some time to it, and I have collected a few very good testimonials in the meanwhile, which I have put into my brochure and my website. And recently I get comments from people who are within my target group asking me more about, what my work consists of, trying to find out what is behind food education. That is the first step, right? So I am taking action. Because if I kept my business card in my pocket with my title and hum, law of attraction, send me someone who wants to hire me, it won't work, right? So I decided to take action and to give things for free, unconditionally, to have an opportunity to get exposure and to show the world what I can do. Now I need to continue this path and bring the law of attraction more into the front line and into action. That is now my step. My first step was action. Take action. What can I do? How can I? You have to think out of the box sometimes. Law of action also might not be the traditional what to do things. Sometimes you have to think out of the box. You have to think of different ways. You have to look at the hidden opportunities that are there. But don't sit there and just wait for something to happen. It won't work. It is all about action. Now, you have seen how the law of action works together with the law of attraction. Okay, the law of action is working. The law of attraction comes into play. And then you have the third law, which is the law of compensation. this is just to show you all how
Right.
the laws are actually working together. Each law by itself is enough and works by itself. But if you combine, if you put one law and the other together,
Mm-hmm.
can you imagine if you learn how to do the 12 laws, implement them into your life, you know what the result is? Your life is a firework. It's going to be an explosion of abundance and things happening in your life.
Wow.
Yeah, so you already have 3 laws, people. Today is law 4. There are more to come. More to come. I myself, I must admit, I also struggle and have challenges with the law of action. Of course, nights, just do it. It's like, oh, yeah, it's so easy said. For example, I'm supposed to do videos about my work. And in this video, I need to show my hands. Now I have, because I do something, right? And in order, I show my hands, and I don't like to show my hands because I have very ugly hands. So what I did is, I was like, okay, I always had the excuse, I can't do the video because I have ugly hands. But on the other hand, I need to do this video. So what I did is, sometimes you have to push yourself. You have to push yourself, you have to trick yourself to do something. So what did I do? I booked myself at the nail parlor, got myself a very expensive manicure plus fake nails. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Clever.
And the result was what? I had no more excuse to say I have ugly fingers. Plus, I had invested so much money in those fingernails, I felt guilty if I didn't get, return on investment. I did my video. So day before yesterday, I did my video. So sometimes you have to encourage yourself. You have to trick yourself. If you don't do things, then find a way. Either put the carrot in front, and if, for example, if it's saving money, it's put the carrot in front of your nose and imagine, take the law of action and imagine that house that you want to have one day and that you will have. And then, and then you kind of like push yourself to put the money aside, right? So you have to find either carrot, or sometimes you have to find the whip by telling yourself, if I don't do this, this and this is not going to take place. I'm not going to have this and this, and I want this really badly. Action, 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 action.
So no matter what, get yourself out of the comfort zone and act on it, right?
Yes. Every law, all things, action is very often, the change in your life is very often stepping out of your comfort zone, because you have to give up something that you're used to in order to achieve something else. You have to move out of your old house where you know where everything is to the new house, where you don't know the neighbors, etc. You have to leave your old job to get a new job where you don't know your colleagues, you don't know your boss, etc. Everything is, you want to save money, you have to give up on certain things because you have to put money aside so your lifestyle will change. It is very often stepping out of your comfort zone, very often, but it is the only way. But that is exactly the excitement when it happens and when you accomplish it and you're like, I did it, and I did the right thing. I was so right doing it. You know what I mean? It is like, yes, that is the night, yes, I can do it. But you can only have this exciting feeling when you do something, not when you're like, visualize, visualization board, blah, blah, blah. Yes, motivational post, everything great. But in addition to the law of action, sorry, without double A.
Double A, yeah? So may I say that with the action accompanied together with the strong emotion or strong feelings?
Yeah, of course. You have to want something. The law of action becomes much easier for you to accomplish what you want to do if you have an emotional drive. If you see your compensation, for example, if you visualize the outcome, right? That's an emotional thing. If you visualize the house you're going to have, that's an emotional thing, right? If you visualize that you're going to get a new job, that's an emotional thing. That is emotional excitement, right? It's like, yes. So yes, it is very much, it's very much, law of action is very much related to emotional success. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, having fulfilled something, having achieved something, if 5 years down the road you buy your house, when you sit there and you write the check and you sign the contract, I mean, come on, isn't that amazing? Isn't that the biggest compensation you can dream of? Your dream came true, but you deserved it, and it only comes through because you deserved it, because you have shown that you are willing to step out of your comfort zone, to give up certain things that were normal for you and that are not normal anymore, and to just do it with a little bit of preparation, just to be on the safe side.
So it's with a little preparation and get hold of the strong emotional drive up front.
Yes, I go back to the driving license graduate. Okay, the emotion, the emotion of him starting the car. Oh, wow! Here I go. Ooh, wow! Heartbeat, excitement. The first gear. Whoa! It's actually going. It's moving. Yes. Okay. Fine. It always moved, even with my driving instructor, but this time there's no one there and I do it all alone and nobody's telling me go left, go right. I go with the flow and whoa, now I'm going in the second gear, etc. And then I drove around, around the block. I come back, I park the car, you switch off the car and you're like, yes, I did it. No scratch. Dad is going to be so happy and mom is going to be so proud and mom is going to be so happy that I didn't scratch the car, because how she's going to defend me at dinner to pass the pill, right? I mean, I really like this example because I think it's a very easy, understandable, because most people went through it. This, if you remember back when you drove the first time without your driving instructor, my God, what a feeling was that, and you picked up your friends, and my friend would put on the helmet, got into the car, I had my driving. Every time one of us had the driving license, we were the ones to take out for drinks, pay the drinks, but we were, of course, not the one who could drink, because we were the one who would drive, right? And we were 18 back then. So I remember when I had my dad's Merce, and all my friends, with 4 guys, they were waiting at one of my friend's place, and they all got into the car, and one said, oh shoot, I forgot something. So we waited. He came back with a helmet. Thank you. Sitting in the helmet in my car, like, oh yeah, now I'm safe. Now you can go. I was like, seriously? I drove here without accident. I can drive anywhere now, right? So yes, Adeline, that was more or less what I had to share. I still have, as a closing, I need another 5 minutes for something, which is a very short exercise that I would like to share. Plus, I'm a bad guy. I have homework for our listeners. So, yeah, hey, I'm talking about the law of action. I want them to take action, right? So I'm giving them a little very easy homework. So I would like to know from you how you would like us to do that. Would you like people to check on questions asked me now, whether people had questions in the chat, or would you like me to continue and we do that at the very end? I need about 5 minutes.
5 minutes, yeah. Let me ask. Any question from the floor? Just give me one or 2 minutes. I'm checking it on the chat. Any question from the audience? Stanley Yap saying hi. Okay. All right. There seems to be no question from the floor, but they are showing they absolutely agree on what you have shared.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Okay, no question. Maybe people feel free to think about question. I'll just continue with the exercise and with the homework, And if you still have questions, I'm very happy as long as the floor is open to answer any questions. So the exercise I would like you to do is very simple. I want you to do the following, but listen first to the end of the instructions, please, okay? So I want you to stand up. Okay, I have to unplug now because I'm going to move. Sorry. I want you to stand up, and then I want everybody to go somewhere where they just have like 2 meters walkway, let's say 3 meters, 3 meter space, so not like a chair in front. 3 meters where they can walk, okay? And I would like you to stand up and bend forward. But if this is the body, I don't want you to do this, just with the top of the body. I want you to lean forward with the whole body, okay? So when you stand up, I want you to lean forward with your body and walk. And then I would like you to try, no, not to try. I would like you to lean forward a little bit more and then lean forward, go back a little bit, forward and backwards. I give you 2 minutes. Come on, everybody, stand up. Let's do this. I want you to feel that emotion. Okay, let's go. So I want you to, as I said, if this is straight, I want you to go lean forward. Okay, let's give them time to try because I really want them to try it. Let's give them another 30 seconds.
So, yeah, audience, clear your space.
Yeah, clear your space. Stand up and bend forward. These are your feet. These are your feet here. Bend. Okay, bend forward. Okay? Bend forward. And then go a little bit straight. Bend further down. Straight, a little bit. Okay, I think everybody had the time to try it. Well, I bet what you experienced is when you lean forward, even just a little bit, automatically you have to put a foot forward because otherwise you fall, okay? So the motion is when you step one foot forward, then you step the other. If you keep going forward, right? If you keep your body bent. If you bend a lot, you have to make either bigger steps or you go faster. If you bend a little bit, you only do small steps or you go slower. What this is about is that sometimes, what I was talking about earlier, sometimes to take action, you have to push yourself to go forward. You have to trick yourself or you have to encourage yourself, put the carrot in the front or put the little, the little pinch in your back to get moving. Sometimes you need something because if you stand there, sometimes you need to push yourself. You just have to just bend forward a little bit. And once you move, you will see everything, you find a rhythm and everything will fall into place. And then you walk and you steady and then you find your rhythm, etc. And you will have moments where you implement the law of action and suddenly it doesn't work. It doesn't stop. You feel like you have to stop or you feel like you have to go backwards. Don't worry. If it doesn't go so smooth, it is because the universe just tells you that you have to either take a break, maybe you have not thought it through properly, maybe your goal was too high. So if things don't work, it is not a punishment. It doesn't mean you're not supposed to get to the end. It just means maybe you haven't chosen the right path. Maybe you have been going too slow. Maybe you have been going too fast. Maybe you have to rethink it. Maybe you have to change your goal. Maybe it's like you're here and you have to choose which way to go because there are different options. So when things don't work, when you implement the law of action, but things don't happen the way you thought they should happen and you have expected and prepared, then it is just because something is not right yet, the fruit is not ripe, or something is not on the right rail and you just have to move it a little bit. So don't give up. Just continue. Take a break. Analyze why did it not work. Make an effort to sit down and analyze it and look at what are the other options. And then lean your body forward again and just a little bit so that the small steps start, and you will go again and you will have your motion again. And if again something gets stuck, just take it as the universe being great, being generous to you by guiding you and telling you, hey, wait, slow. No, not this way. There's another way. So I hold you back because I want you to think now. Okay? So maybe the universe just tells you to slow down, rethink, or take it in another direction. Is there any question now?
Yes. There's one question from Isaac Lim. He's asking, Angela, there seems to be always blockers before we even lean or move forward. How to overcome this fear or maybe procrastination?
That's what I just meant. You have to find something. Remember, like I just said about my fingernails? Find something that encourages you. Procrastination, yes. Procrastination is the biggest handicap of the law of action. Find something that either is the carrot in front of your face or the whip in your back, whatever works for you. Find something that that pushes you to move forward. I don't know what you're referring to, but let's say an emotion and relationship, right? You think and think and think and think. You want to ask this girl to go out on a date, okay? So the more you think about it, it's great. You plan everything, but you have to do it sooner or later, right? So find a way to make it for you less scary. Like you choose the venue so that you feel in a comfort zone at least. Take out more of the risk. Don't go somewhere where you are, if you want to take her out, then encourage her to take the venue that you choose because you choose that this is an environment you feel comfortable. Make it easier for you. You see what I mean? Encourage yourself, trick yourself in respect to say, if you go there, I'm fine. Everything, I know the waiter or whatever, the restaurant or whatever. And, you can prepare things. So I would say those blockers are things that you have to, your blockers best. How can you trick your own blockers?
So, Angela, can I say that?
I hope that answered the question, Isaac. I hope that somehow gave you a bit of an idea.
Yeah. Or maybe I put it another way. Like in Isaac's position, probably is linked more to jobs, right? Let's say, okay, if he's procrastinating, probably he can bring himself back where he achieves success, a great success on his previous projects.
Absolutely.
Bring back all the wonderful memory, bring back all the, I feel so great.
Exactly. Then close your eyes, see yourself when you got this job and say, yes, and the promotion or whatever, and say, yes, I got it. Yes. Yay, I'm Superman. I mean, that is exactly what do you see? See the outcome. Pull the law of attraction then in. That may work for the law of action then. If you see the outcome, where you want to be and how you're going to celebrate and getting that job, which is a promotion and makes you earn better, and you can afford that car, to buy that car and to pay the deposit for that car that you wanted because, that's the carrot, or it can be the pinch, whichever you prefer, whatever works better for you. to not procrastinate anymore and take action to push away those blockers.
Yeah, the strong emotions.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, then I have a homework for everybody.
All right.
I would like you to do the following.
Mm-hmm.
Those among you who have attended the last 3 classes or any of the classes, I want you to pick one of the laws you have heard about. Take the one that appeals most to you, that seems the clearest and easiest for you, and I want you to take action and start implementing that law that you chose into your life consciously. Now, starting tonight, I want you to think about the laws that you have seen. Now you have seen 4. Pick the one that you think is the easiest for you and implement it into your life. Then, when is the next session, Adeline?
All right, the next session will be on the 22nd of August.
Okay. Oh, you've got so much time, guys. Until 22nd of August, you have time to practice this one law that you will pick tonight to implement that. Then on the 22nd, you will have the last correspondence, correct, Adeline, with my dear fellow trainer, Heng, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So until the 22nd, you can practice any of the 4 laws that you've heard about in the last session. Those who only joined today, well, take the law of action, start with the law of action. And then on the 22nd, you'll hear the law of correspondence, and you will add that one then into in addition to the law you have been practicing. So that makes 2 laws that you will start implementing. Easy. Don't push too hard, but just think of it and, be conscious of, okay, I will do this, I will do that. I will try to, I make an effort to remember to do this. And then the next session, you have the 3rd law coming in, and the 4th law, etc., until you have all laws are through. And try to implement as many as possible, and you will see what you will experience and the changes. Trust yourself.
Wow. Again, action.
Yes. Because listening here, guys, is great. Listening to us speakers is lovely for us. Thank you. But I want you to do something out of it. When you get out of this session, I want you to think, and I want you to start doing something, not only listening. We have a purpose talking to you. We have a purpose. We talk about how it has influenced our life. So it influences your life too. And it is amazing. As I said, the more you put in, the bigger the firework. And create your own firework. Trust yourself. You can do anything. The sky has no limits.
Right.
But
Yep. I think there's one more point which is quite important too throughout putting the action. Have positive friends around you who support you no matter what.
Absolutely. I mean, but the thing is, but on the other hand, yes, I agree. But look at my French teacher. If I had listened to him, I would have never gone to France. So sometimes people who kind of like say, yeah, you're going to be an actor. Those people are maybe those influencers that change your life. So don't only count on the people who say yes. Also look at the people who say no, because sometimes they say no because they don't know you and they don't trust you, and you know better. If you know better than them, then still go ahead. But I said again, calculate your risk. It is always never jump into the swimming pool if you don't know how deep it is, if you don't know how to swim, if you don't know this and this and this and this. Calculate your risk to a certain point. But then you will still have more arguments to not do it, because it's still the uncertainty that could step into your life and make you scared. But you have to do it. You have to do it sooner or later. Just do it, because at least you will never regret. And if it didn't work out, it wasn't meant to be yet. Try again later. It was maybe too early. The fruit was not ripe. It doesn't mean that you're not supposed to do it. It's just not the right time. But you practiced already. So you did already a few steps. So the next time, those steps is just easy peasy. And what comes after those steps that you have already done and where it didn't work out, you know the trick now, because you've been there already. You know why it didn't work. And this time it works.
Right. Okay.
Create your own fireworks. Thank you, Isaac. I love that. Do it.
Okay, so it's already 6 minutes past an hour. I feel very fruitful of your sharing, Angela. You're so full of fires, and you also inject the amusement into your talk, and it's all very structured, simple. You're using the no driving a car on how to start on the first step, the second, and the last. Wow, it's so easy, and it's like going into my head.
Good. Great. I'm happy about that. Thank you so much. It was lovely. Thank you so much, Adeline, for being such a lovely host. It's been really fun. Thank you so much. Thank you, I Inspire, for this lovely opportunity. And guys, action. From today onwards, action, action, action. Procrastination, no more in your dictionary. Erased, cannot exist anymore. Finished, over, happens. Bye-bye.
So I would like to thank Angela on behalf of the Persatuan I Inspire. We're really glad that you have a session with us, and we would like to wish that whatever action you take in, it will be all blessed, full of fire, strong emotional drive to achieve the success that you're looking for. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you very much. Good night, everybody.
So
thank you for your time.
Good night, everybody. Bye. See you next time.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.